So wait, so speaking of music, your son is very talented, Benny, right?
Benny loves music, and I feel so lucky because every morning when I'm making breakfast, he goes in the piano, and I know, look at him. He's so sweet. So he's just, and he plays the piano as I'm making breakfast, and I feel like the luckiest mom in the world. He's very artistic, you know?
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's more like, let's climb walls. Like, I want to jump horses. Like, I spent the whole Saturday with her in the rock climbing place.
Yeah.
For like 5 hours I was there.
Oh,
rock
you're
climbing.
a good mom.
She loves it. I love it too, but I have to ballet her.
Oh my gosh.
But it's so funny, become a kid again, right? I never thought I wanted to go rock climbing. But then when she started rock climbing and I had to learn how to ballet her, then I'm like, I want to rock climb too. So it's so fun.
I have this experience when I do things like that. I am a child at heart, and I'm like, oh my gosh, totally I can do this. And then I start doing it, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, nope.
You can walk the next day.
Nope. I'm like, oh, it turns out this was not now. This was my 20s. I should have done this in my 20s.
You know, I don't care. I just go for it.
Yeah, no, I go for it, man.
Like,
we're just built a little differently.
Yeah, and we have a little pain.
And, well, I don't work out. So it's just...
You have to work out. That's
I
like
know,
the most
I know. The weight training, I know my doctor and nurse are all over. I'm just like, look, one thing at a time. I lost some weight. Let's work on the next thing now.
But workout's going to help you with that.
I know. Actually, I feel like I've lost muscle. So I've lost more weight than I actually wanted to.
And after your 40s, you really need to do some weights.
I know. Did my doctor call you?
You see, yes. He said, make sure when you go there, you remind her.
I got the weights. I'm doing the stuff. I'm doing all
But it's about the health. So as long as you feel good, you know. So I think exercise, rest, nutrition, all of those things are all the things that go in the bucket of things that help you feel good and feel energized.
You're right.
And, you know, if you're not going to do it for yourself, no one is going to do it for you.
No, I didn't do it for myself. I'll be
know.
really honest with you. I did it because my daughter was like, I need you to live to 110. And I was like, I am not on that path.
I think you are now.
I am on the path now. But I'm doing all the things, you know, crazy or not crazy. But,
my goal is to be surfing with my kids when I'm 80, so I have work to do. So
I believe in you, but I don't know that I believe.
No. I believe in you. You're going to do it. You're making it happen.
Okay. Gisele believes in me. I can do anything. I have to ask this, though, because I think we have something in common. A lot of people have this in common, but when you were younger, and then it took a while, you were quite the people pleaser.
Oh, yeah.
And it took a while to learn how to say no. Me too.
I'm still learning.
Me too.
I'm not very good at it.
I'm not either. I feel like it's disrespect. There's something like embedded in me from childhood that is like disrespectful.
I think as girls, sometimes we get raised of like, you know, be the good girl, and to be the good girl, you have to do the right thing. And, you know, and I think that, you know, a friend of mine said something, said, Gisele, you know, your yes means nothing if you don't know how to say no. And yeah, good, right?
Yeah.
Girls, remember that.
Philosophy bomb. That was like,
Let's
wow.
go.
Yeah.
So I keep remembering that. It's like in the back of my mind. So when my inclination is to kind of be a pleaser, but I keep trying to remember that as kind of a mantra to say, is this right for me? Does it feel right, you know, for me? Like, does it feel right in my body? I think we have to like stop, breathe, listen to our bodies and see how it feels before the pleaser comes out running. And I've been practicing that a lot. Sometimes I'm good at it. And some other days I'm kind of like, I could have done better, but you know, I keep practicing. Practice makes it perfect. One day I'll get there. Yeah. Where I'll be a master at it.
Yeah.
No?
I don't know. I feel like, is it no? No, I feel like it's hard too, like when you are, we, you know, began talking about how we're mothers and we also have many jobs, you know, around that. I think it's hard to do too when you feel the weight of others, of the pressure of your decision is also on others. That's hard for me. That's when I end up saying yes.
And I think as women, also I have 5 sisters. As I told you, I think there is a thing about moms that, you know, sometimes there's that whole thing of like, we feel guilty if we do, if we're guilty if we don't. Like,
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah.
Quite, you know, so it's a little bit like you feel like you're constantly like,
tug of war.
Yes, inside your head. And I think that it's so important for us to be kinder to ourselves and love ourselves. I tell my kids, I say, guys, I'm learning how to be a mom, and you guys are my kids. So there's a lot of things I need to do better, and I would like you to tell me. The same way I go and I share with you certain things, like don't scream with your sister. Let's take 3 deep breaths before, and then they forget that they're fighting. Yeah. You know, it's like, how can I do better the things that, how can you can tell me also, because I'm learning how to be a mom with you. So I think
and both your kids are so different from each other and how they react.
They're completely different, and I think that you have to go from this place of like, you're learning they are learning, we're all learning together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as they're growing, now I have preteens and a teenager, it's a whole different world.
Not
let me
looking
tell
forward
you.
to that.
It's amazing.
Cool.
The kind of expansion that needs to happen, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you have to remind yourself when you were a teenager. I was like, what was I doing? I was living in Japan at 14, so I guess my kid can take a bike to his friend's house. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So
the things we did when we were young, I would never let my kids do.
I know, I was like, I don't think I would have let Benny go to Japan at 14, no.
No.
So no, I wouldn't have emancipated him, no, I don't think. But anyway, so it's.
But I think it's about knowing your children too, because maybe, you know, your mother knew that about you.
Yeah,
that
I was like cleaning and that's what I try to teach my kids, the chores. I'm like, guys, I'm not punishing you to teaching you chores. I'm actually helping you, because if I'm not teaching you this, to wash the dishes, to clean your room, to set the table.
You're gonna be a mess when you get out there.
That's what I'm saying. Who is gonna teach you that in the world? My mom taught me that, so when I left home, I was able to do all those things, and I felt like a capable person. You know what I mean? There's nothing better than to feel like you can do stuff for yourself.
Oh, it's empowering,
It's so empowering. And I feel like it's so important to teach your kids that, even though they don't like it and they complain, later they're gonna be like, okay, thank God my mom taught me that. That's how I felt.
You don't feel like an idiot.
Yeah, you feel like you feel like you're like, you know, a capable human being. And I tell my kids that all the time. And I think the most important thing too is conversations. I have the best conversations with my kids. We talk about feelings, you know, when I go pick up my son at sports or my daughter at, you know, it's like I have alone time with each of them in the car.
Which is so important.
That's when the jam happens, because you get really to kind of like, you know, sometimes they want to put the AirPods. No, you don't get to do that in the car with me. You're gonna, you know, and now they love it. They're looking forward to it. They sit in the car. Mom, guess what happened?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like it takes some time. But I think having conversations, it's like the jam that comes out from the conversation. I think they're essential, because that's how you get to know your kid as they transform. And that's how you get to support them in the best way that you can at that time.
Especially if they're going through a hard time. It's like, you can talk to me about anything and say whatever you need to say, like in that moment. You know, it's a safe space. I think that's the best way for our family.